torqued. However, I don't have a crow's foot torque wrench, so I just snugged them up so that they were pretty tight. I will do a vacuum test, and we'll check if it drops at all. That would tell us that we have leaks. If you have leaks, it's going to be leaking from your connections. Okay guys, I got the vacuum pump. It's all hooked up, and we're on the low port here, and here's the way this is set up. So the yellow hose on the manifold is tied into the vacuum, and the low side is the blue. That gauge is going to the heat pump and air conditioner, and the only thing that you'll need is an adapter. These things are made 5/16 of an inch rather than a quarter. I'm not quite sure why they do that, but you need an adapter. So I have that adapter there, and it's actually a Pioneer part. So we have this thing vacuuming the air out. If there's any issues, you don't have to worry about losing refrigerant or anything, because we didn't release the refrigerant into the system yet. And if we look here at the low side meter, we're trying to get this thing down to -30 inches of mercury, and I'm already there. Actually, the manual says -20, so we're in real good shape. We're going to run this pump for 15 minutes, and you just want to be sure that if you get a pump, you add oil to it, because they come without oil. Alright guys, we're going on 15 minutes, which is plenty of time, because like I said, we're even past -30, which is real good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to close off the low side, and we're going to turn off our vacuum pump. Now we're going to let this thing sit about 15 minutes or so, and we're going to just keep our eye on this gauge. And if that gauge goes down and it's losing vacuum, that's telling us that there's a leak. Alright guys, it's been about 20 minutes or so, and this thing did not budge at all. I'm really liking the gauge set. Seems to work quite well. And if you do have a leak, you want to look where your connections are. So down here you have two connections, and in my case up here inside this cover I have two connections. And you can check for leaks just by taking some bubbly water and a brush, put it on there, and you should see bubbles where it's leaking. So that's how you test for it. Now what we got to do is charge the system with the refrigerant. Alright guys, now we're going to release the refrigerant. You want to make sure there's no leaks whatsoever, otherwise you're going to need someone over here to charge the refrigerant. So we'll take off that service cap, and looks like it's a 1/4 inch. Nope. You should hear the refrigerant be released. And you want to open this all the way up. There you go. And I'm going to use the Nylog again. Now a little Freon will come out of here, so we're just going to try and remove this pretty quick. And all my gauges are in the off position. Okay, here's a look at the indoor unit. Right now it's running on full blast. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but it definitely puts out some real nice cool air, and it's super quiet. 71 degrees is what I have it set to, so it'll just maintain that temperature. Everything on the unit's controlled by remote control. Here's the remote control, and I just kind of put it by my doorway on the way out so I can turn it on or off. And you just control it right there. It'll hold whatever temperature you want, air or heat. Here's a look at the outdoor unit running. It is super quiet, guys. I'm very happy with the way things look and how quiet everything is. So if this is a job that you're going to try and do on your own, you're going to need some tools. I bought this manifold set that worked out real well for me, and it came with some 5-foot hoses, and like I said, it included the adapter here, so you don't necessarily need to buy an adapter if you get this kit. A pipe bender. I didn't even use this thing, but this thing does like 3/16 up to 3/8 inch pipe, and you can bend that hollow tube copper without kinking it. A hole saw, 2.5 inches is what I used. I had this laying around. It worked real well. So you may need that to drill through your wall. This is the vacuum pump I used. This one was, I got a little bit bigger one. The cheapest one was 1/4 horsepower. This one's 1/3, and it's really quiet. Did a good job. And another tool is a flange maker, okay, or a flaring tool. And I was planning on cutting the lines and making the lines shorter, but according to the company, the lines need to be at least 10 foot. So I would probably put my outdoor unit further away from the indoor unit if I were to redo the unit. But those are, you know, the basic tools that you'll need. And, you know, cost-wise, I think I'm under $150 for all those, but you can do the math. So the total cost for my unit with all tools and everything, somewhere around $1,200–1,300. And I think that's a real good price considering I called the local HVAC company and they were going to charge, I believe the estimate was somewhere between $1,900 and $2,100 to install the electric and the entire unit. As far as the unit goes, I would have to buy the unit that they work on, and they use more of the commercial, the more expensive units like the Mitsubishi and Fujitsu and LG. So those units cost more money, and you know, I was able to buy a cheaper unit and just put it in myself.